What's up, big baller shot callers? Big Ken here. Welcome from the Grid to Rim Sports Talk Show. Joined by my two very good friends, Monty and Dwayne. Sorry, getting stumbled there for a second, but how you guys doing, brothers? Good to see you guys.
What's up? What's up? Good to be back, man. Good to be back. Talk about
Salute,
some
salute,
basketball.
salute, salute,
Yeah,
salute to everybody. Happy Father's Day to you, Big
yes,
Ken, my Uncle Monty. How y'all
Yes, sir.
doing,
Thank you.
man? Hey, happy
yeah,
Father's
Thank
Day
you.
to all of us being fathers, and
Happy
yes,
to
Father's Day to
those
you as
that
well,
that are,
nephew. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
and
yes,
those that are still here, and those that we lost as well. So
yes,
definitely,
absolutely. Happy
definitely.
Father's Day to you guys. Happy Father's Day to everyone watching.
Yes.
We are just talking about, Dwayne's, son doing great things. So, yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Keep
what
up
it's
good
all
work,
about.
man.
That's
Very
what it's all
proud
about.
dad here.
Yeah.
Never met your son, but seems like a really good young man. And
Yeah.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
really
well, I'm
good
a
job.
proud dad. That's the
Yeah, you
Yeah.
proud
should
dad.
be. You have every
Hey,
right to be
Absolutely.
proud.
hey, you're doing a good job, nephew. Keep it up, man.
Hey, salute. I thank y'all so much, man. God's good. No complaints.
Yeah, I
Amen.
agree.
Amen.
God is good.
Yeah.
Um, let's get into NBA Finals. Whoo,
Yeah.
wow, a lot to talk about. Last night, Game 4. Dallas. Finally stepped on their throats, got up by as much as 48 points, the most ever in the NBA Finals game, I think, since the 1940s or 50s. They said that no one ever had that big of a lead in the finals in like the past 60, 70, 80 years. That was crazy.
Mhm.
Dallas wins 122-84, so they end up winning the game by 38 points, which is a pretty big margin. I'm very disappointed in games 2 and 3. We could get into it. I feel like games 2 and 3 were very winnable for Dallas as well, especially, game 3, Dallas's first game at home. I feel like they could have the series tied 2-2 instead of 3 games to 1 and
Yeah.
still being in a really big hole. We know no NBA team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. Boston got close last year, forcing a game 7, which made things very interesting. I think first time they ever forced a game 7, being down 3 games to 0. We could talk about whether we think Dallas could do it or not, but yeah, I'm just disappointed, man. Is Boston a very good team? Yes, they've been one of the best teams in the NBA all year long. They're legit #1 seed, but I swear to God, like you're
Absolutely.
saying in pregame, I swear to God, these jokers are beatable.
Yeah.
Indiana had some very winnable games. Dallas has had, winnable games, except for game 1. They got the pants beat off of them in game 1. They got blown out. But games 2, 3, and 4, Dallas is in these things, especially obviously game
Mhm.
4, just blowing them out from very early on. But what's your guys' thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on this, Dwayne? Because I feel like Dallas could be in a much better position than what they actually are, man.
They could, and people down here in the DFW are very disappointed in them. But I was talking about this with some colleagues at work, and I'm just like, the sad part about it is that Kyrie just kicks it into gear whenever he wants. You know what I'm saying? And he has to be that second scorer. But I got to give Boston they credit, and they credit is due. They have a better bench than Dallas. It's just that simple, and it shows. But if Kyrie if Kyrie could at least average 20 plus points a game, then they have a shot. Unlike last night, my thoughts on like Dallas had to win. I'm not surprised that they won. I'm not even surprised that they blew them out. I mean, how else you gonna go? You know what I'm saying? I think
Right.
Boston practically gave it to them and just to say, you know what? Let's take this back to Boston. Let's kick it into high gear. Porzingis should be good to go, and let's just shut these boys down. I wouldn't want to. I mean, shoot, if I was Dallas, I wouldn't want them to beat me in Dallas on a game 4. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? What
Right.
do you
Right.
expect? You know what I'm saying? And I was telling some colleagues yesterday, I'm just like, Dallas better have some heart going into this game 4 because I sure as heck don't want to be shut out in Dallas. At least let's go back to Boston and and if we gonna lose, let's lose there.
Right.
But I'm not surprised that Dallas blew them out. When you see Luka with 20 plus and you see Kyrie with 20 plus, the odds are in their favor to win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just their role players, man, that just gets me,
Yeah,
you know
role
what I'm
players
saying?
a big
And
factor. Yeah,
Kyrie's and
Dallas role
Kyrie's
players. Whew.
inconsistency. It just, I don't know. It's just, he has to show up, man, and he has
Yeah.
to show up. So
What do you think, Monty? What's your take?
To touch on what you said, Dwayne, what was Kyrie's record against Boston before yesterday? I believe 0-13 or something like that.
Yeah,
After the trade, after the trade out of Boston. That's just crazy. Of all teams he would want to score against, this would be the team he would want to go off on. And man, we had to put out a missing persons ad for him until yesterday.
Yeah.
Just couldn't find him. Couldn't find him.
At all.
My biggest disappointment was game 3. We were talking about this earlier. Porzingis was the key. They can't seem to have an answer for him. He's just, when he's healthy, he's unstoppable, and they had no answer for him. They should have took advantage of him being out in game 3. I was sure Dallas was going to win that game. And
Me too. Me too.
They had a lead, man. They keep on blowing it.
With Porzingis, it gives them a third and fourth score.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it sucks, man. And it sucks,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just like, you know, and like I said, I credit to Boston, man. They just have a bench, and I
Yeah.
can almost see them coming in the offseason about even getting more reloaded for more dynasty talk with them. You know what I'm saying? They're in position. Brown is just that dude. He really is that dude. I don't have not really one bad thing to say about that. That dude fights. You know, he may foul a little bit and not get called and not get called for it, but it may push off a little bit. But at the end of the day, he really is that dude. He can score at will. You know, he's a
Yes.
big time rebounder. You know, and then surprise you on some assists. I mean, even in that one, and I believe in game 3, the dude had like 4 assists in one half. You know what I'm saying? That ain't his MO. You know, so it's just, you know, they just have better role players than Dallas. Dallas doesn't have a lot of that scoring punch that you need. Now with the additions of PJ Washington and I forgot what the other guy is, picked up in the trade, you know, it has been definitely
Holiday? Holiday?
No, I'm talking about
He's
for
not for
Mavericks.
Dallas. Yeah.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Okay.
What is
There
his
was
name?
Jones. There was
When
this
they picked up
Jones Jr.
Washington
guy.
and Gafford. I'm sorry, it was Gafford.
Yeah.
So they definitely made the difference because it showed that both of them definitely made the difference in the when playing Denver. But at the end of the day, it's just that they don't have that firepower. They don't have that scoring punch. You know, like with the additions of Holiday or White or Hauser or, you know, whatever, you know, so it's just they're credit to, you know, Boston's, you know, bench play. Their starting 5 is legit, you know, and Holiday is a difference maker
On defense.
as well as White.
Yeah.
So it's just that, you know, they you know, if Brown and Tatum are not having a good game, you can expect Holiday and White to go off. So it's just been they've been that dude.
It seems to me that Jrue Holiday said, look, let me handle Kyrie. He's a defensive specialist. He's been a defensive specialist when he was with Milwaukee. And man, the first couple of games, to your point, like you said, Dwayne, Kyrie needs to average at least 20 for Dallas to be successful. He had 12 points in game 1, 16 points in game 2. That's an average of 14 points. He had 35 in game 3, a game they should have won, and a good 21 yesterday. And you saw the difference. I mean, well, as a team as a whole, they played a lot better. Dallas did. Even Luka played defense, which is unheard of. I mean, we don't see him do that too often. Kyrie can be a defensive liability at times, but they play collectively. But if they want to make history and extend this series, yeah, you're right. Kyrie needs to average, I'll go beyond that, 25, along with Luka's 30, which is what he's averaging.
And let me just go. Ken, you mind if I just take this a step further, brother?
Go ahead,
okay, brother. Now, because like I said, me and my colleagues, because we in the DFW area, so we talking about this game every day, all day, throughout the day. So my biggest issue is with Luka. You know what I'm saying? Luka is a bona fide scorer.
Oh yeah.
But the problem is he's trying to score almost on every play.
Yes.
You have to use your team.
Yeah.
Everybody sees Luka. Boom. Now, let me, I don't want to take everything from Luka. Luka averages almost somewhere in the realm of between 7 and 9 assists a game, somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying? Average. You know, he'll average maybe about 9 rebounds and 10 rebounds a game. But that boy don't pass. He don't pass, and it kills me. It kills me. If you watch the games, anytime Luka has the ball, look, rarely pass, and he's backing his player down and is going up for a step back fadeaway almost all the time. And that's a problem for me.
Yep.
If you look at the difference in how Indiana played, my thing is that I think Indiana could at least took it to a game 6 or a game 7 against Boston if it wasn't for Halliburton getting hurt. When he got hurt, I knew it was over. There was no chance.
Everyone did.
It was no chance. It was no chance because they left some scoring. There was no scoring to match up what he was bringing to the table. As soon as Halliburton was playing against the Knicks, and soon as he found a 3-point sudden, they spread it out. Now, Indiana was pass. If you look at their games, Indiana passed that ball 10 times before and swing that ball 10 times before taking the shot. And if they weren't on the break, you know what I'm saying? Or if they weren't fast breaking. Dallas don't do that. Dallas plays the half-court game. They don't run and gun. They don't pass. Look at Boston, the way they pass the ball.
Yes.
Pass, shoot.
Wide open.
Pass, drive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's spotting up, waiting for the ball. Dallas is just their players are waiting. You know, Jones may be waiting, PJ may be waiting, but they're not involving the other scores because everybody's like, well, we need Kyrie to step up. Well, Kyrie finally steps up. Well, you know, but it's just them two averaging 20s in the game.
Yes.
Who else is averaging 20 or at least in the teens? You know, for Dallas, if look at the box score, you know what I'm saying? Luka 20, says PJ 6, whatever, 7, Jones, these little knickknacks, you know what I'm saying? They, even though they blew them out, you know what I'm saying? That's because they maybe clamped up defensively and maybe showed out a little bit. Where was that in games 1 through 3? You know, so it's just my thing is that Luka's a problem when they don't get the other players involved. Luka is going to get his regardless, but imagine what Boston has to do when other players are scoring.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what Dallas is dealing with when Boston is scoring. They got to deal
they throw that rock
with
around.
Holiday. They got to deal with Brown. They got to deal with Tatum. They got to deal with Porzingis. They got to deal with all of them. And Dallas,
Boston's passing is pretty good.
Yes.
They spread these jokers out, and then they get them in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? PJ Washington is always in foul trouble in the first quarter. And he's their third scorer. You know, so it kills me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm just like, I can't see Dallas winning this.
No.
I don't think they will win this. I think they will lose. You know, I don't see them moving on to pass this game here. This is Boston's time to shine. They will do it. Porzingis will go ahead and play in this game as well, since he's pretty much sat out 2 games. I just don't see it, man. They want to win this, and they want to win this early. You know what I'm saying? And get it, and not even give Dallas a chance to breathe. And the way I'm not saying Luka is going to get his. He's just going to get his but by the style of play of his game. But they do not swing that ball. They do not pass that ball, and that's killing them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't helping Boston.
There's a lot of one-on-one.
They know you D up on Luka to the best of your ability. You D up on Kyrie to the best ability. All these other jokers ain't gonna score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with you, Dwayne. Very good point. And obviously you are in the DFW area, so you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So this is being talked about 24/7.
Oh yeah.
Another thing. Well, first we gotta say, like, I'll talk about Boston and Dallas. You know, Porzingis in game 1, like, on freaking fire. Didn't play a game in 38 days. And this dude, first ever NBA Finals game. He's never been on the first round because unfortunately the guy is somewhat injury prone. And then he comes back on fire. And everyone knew he was good, but no one knew how he was going to play in his very first ever NBA Finals game. And being rusty, not playing in 38 days, your game speed just may not be there, but that didn't happen at all. No. I was like shocked. I knew he was good, but I didn't think he would completely go off.
Yeah.
But not only was he doing it on the offensive end, like his defense is like blocking shots left and right. That chase down, blocking the dunk of that Dallas player in game 1. I couldn't freaking believe it. I was like, oh my God, that was a play. In game 2, he didn't score as many points, but he was still there defensively. But he still scored like 12 or 13. He didn't, in game 1 he was 20 plus, but he was still there defensively, just like blocking shots left and right. Rebounding. Even if he wasn't blocking shots, he was making them miss shots. It's not always about getting a block; it's making them miss because you're making them change their shot. In midair and like they're off. He was throwing them off, man. But back to Luka. Here's another problem I have with Luka. His attitude with the refs. I'm not just saying this because I'm a ref. His attitude with the refs is freaking terrible. He hurt them big time in game 3 doing that crap. That's what me and my friends were talking about here. Like, he needs to mature and grow up because he's complaining to the refs and he's not running back on defense and Boston's hitting a shot. They're playing 4 versus 5. But he didn't. But to his credit, he did not do that in game 4.
Right.
He changed his attitude. Everyone was talking about Doris Burke and what's his face, JJ Redick were saying his attitude seemed to be much better. He was locked in on defense more. He wasn't complaining. He did smile a couple times where you could tell he was a little bit like whatever, but he didn't say anything. But to his defense, in game 3, I thought the referees were absolutely freaking atrocious as a whole. They missed so many calls on both sides.
No, I don't disagree. No, I don't disagree with that part at all.
He was fouled on that one layup.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that part at all.
I do get
that. No, I don't disagree. No, the refs were horrific that game. But
that was the worst game they had. The rest of the games I think they've been pretty good, but game 3 was bad.
You're the lead scorer on the team. If you get fouled out, what's everybody else going to do?
Yeah.
Dallas don't have a third or fourth scorer like Boston does. They don't have nobody like that.
Jason Tatum gets fouled on a dunk and they missed it. PJ Washington like freaking hit him in the forearm. He still made the dunk. It should have been one. They're missing calls on both sides, but they were missing a lot of calls on Luka. But would it change the game? Probably not. So I'm not gonna. I would never blame a game on a ref. Like, you get to win or lose on your own. But that was the worst called game I had seen in a while, especially for like an NBA game. Like, dude, you're at the highest freaking level. These officials got chosen because of how well they did in the regular season. Like, they don't pick officials that are struggling. They pick like the best crew. I mean, so was kind of surprised. The rest of the games I think they've been pretty solid. Of course, no one's gonna. I mean, no matter how good or bad you are, of course, not every call is going to get called in any kind of game, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, soccer. I mean, there's always going to be a few missed calls here and there because no one can see absolutely everything. But they were missing some crap like right in front of their faces. I'm like, I was shocked. I was like, dude, like, you're right there to make the play, and not being biased, but in football, you have a much bigger field to cover, and I think it's easier to miss things. And football is a more physical sport, so there's contact every single play. So sometimes it's kind of hard to judge whether it's a penalty or not. But in basketball, you're not supposed to take someone's freaking head off, So, and it's a much smaller court. So to me, in my mind, it's easier to see these things because you have less of a field to cover, and there's 3 of them out there. Like, how are they missing this crap, But I'm about to become a basketball official here very soon, so I'll find out. I'm doing basketball next year in combination of football, so I'll see how this goes, and I'll get back with you guys on that, how well I do, how I see things.
Man, we might want to get my brother to answer some of these questions. He's been a ref. Well, he ref for a while.
Right, he did. He refed some of my games at Parkland. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
He's been
a ref for years.
Carl, right?
Yeah.
I remember your brother Carl being at some of my games, and he's like, "What the fuck, Ken?"
yeah, man. For real.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not G-rated. Sorry, I just dropped an F-bomb. Oops. So yeah, but sorry about that, viewers. Sometimes my Navy talk gets the best of me, man. I'm a sailor, so I apologize. But
person like a sailor, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But your brother was doing some of our games, and we're getting blown out. He was like, "What the hell's going on, dude, man?" But yeah. But it's like, hey, man, it's Parkland. What can I say, man? We just don't got enough in the tank, man. These schools are just bigger and better than us, man. So, but how things have changed at Parkland, man. Now they're like powerhouses.
Yeah, they're good now.
Yeah. And our old boy Jeremy Vanley, one of my ex-teammates, is the coach there. That's awesome.
Doing a good job out there.
He's doing a great job.
Shout out to Parkland Matadors, El Paso, Texas.
Yeah, El Paso, Texas. We all from El Paso, Texas. Parkland. We all graduated from Parkland High School, El Paso, Texas.
Los Matadores. Stand up.
Well, let's get into Game 5 predictions. Dwayne already kind of sort of made his. Monty, what's your Game 5 prediction with Dallas going back to Boston? Will they carry momentum, or do you think Boston's going to regroup and end this thing?
I expect to see the same thing we saw when Dallas played Minnesota that game 5, and I expect Dallas to get blown out and just Boston to end it there. I hope not. I mean, as a Laker fan, I just hate to see the Celtics get their 18th before the Lakers does. But Boston's just better, man. And if Porzingis comes back, it's going to be tough.
Is he coming
So,
back? I know they said he might be available for Game 4 in certain moments, but he didn't play because they were getting whooped. So why put this guy in and risk
yeah,
the
yeah.
injury?
I don't know if he's coming back or not, but I would
Me
expect
either.
to.
He probably won't. He'll probably be there on an emergency basis. But knowing Porzingis, he ain't gonna want to miss out on a potential championship ending game. You know, so I mean, I'm gonna anticipate he'll be there. He'll be available, but how much he plays, be determined.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said he might be available in Game 4, but like I said, why put him in when they're losing by 40 points and why risk
made no
injury?
sense. It wouldn't have made no sense.
So the coach uses his brains like, I'm not even going to take a chance. We're like you said, like Mike said, like we're just going back to Game 5 in Boston. They took out their starters middle of the third quarter, like we're done. They tried to see if they can make. They tried to see if they could cut into the lead the first half of the third quarter. They maybe make it a game and keep their stars in, but they just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. So he made the right call on that one.
Makes sense.
I can't stand Boston, but yeah, that was the right call. Just pull them, man. Save them for Game 5.
Yeah.
So you think the same thing, Dwayne? You think Dallas is going to get whooped in Game 5 in Boston like Monty?
I really do. I mean, I don't see. I mean, listen. The only way I see a Game 5, Mavericks extending a Game 5, Luka has to have somewhere around 35 and 36 points. Kyrie needs to have probably like a 28-point game. Yes. You know, and I'm that's not even including rebounds and assists. I have PJ Washington has to have somewhere around a 18-point game. You know, Gafford has to have somewhere around a 9 to 10-point game with at least 8 rebounds. Lively the same, 10 points, 8 rebounds. If they have that some sort of a game, you know what I'm saying, and maybe Exum comes in and just and Hardy come in and show out and give them a burst of energy. It has to be if they can take the crowd out, they have a shot. But this is Boston, man. They want to put this game. They want to put this to bed. They don't want to go no Game 7 with no Mavericks. You know, so they're looking to execute and just be done with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was smart for the coach to go ahead and take the boys out. They just say, you know what, let's give it to them, regroup. We'll head back to Boston and we'll put it down there. And I'm almost certain that Tatum and Brown are not going to let that be another game, you know, where they don't perform well or where they're not going to try to put this to bed.
You two are probably right, and I'm probably wrong, but I am hoping that somehow, maybe I'm picking with my heart and not my head, but I am hoping somehow Dallas brings some momentum into this, and if they win Game 5, they are putting a ton of pressure on Boston. And it will get in their heads like, oh my God, what's going on? Now we're going back to Game 6 in Dallas. It will be in their heads. It's not in their heads now, but if Dallas can win Game 5, man, I'm telling you. But I think the key is, obviously, like you said, Dwayne, the role players were non-existent in Games 1 and 2 up in Boston. If they can be better, I like this Exum kid. They need to play him more. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. should play more. I was kind of surprised he didn't play more in Game 1 and 2. Game 2, Dallas played good enough to win Game 2. I was disappointed. I mean, Game 1 they got the crap beat out of them. We know this, but Game 2, Dallas, that game was winnable.
Well, I'm not sure about Hardaway Jr. I mean, I've been real disappointed in him, man.
But, you're right. He is a veteran, though.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
But the energy I've seen with Hardy and Exum coming
I
off
like
the bench,
Exum.
I've been very impressed. Yeah. I've been very impressed. So if they can use them as a burst of energy, change of pace, kind of how Indiana does their role players with Toppin and forgot what that other dude's name is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they come off the bench, man, and just kind of recharge them jokers, man. They could use them too to I mean, they might have a fighting chance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To give Kyrie and Luka breaks and extend the
Yeah.
rotation a little bit, man.
And
But
and PJ Washington needs to be a legit number 3 scorer. He didn't play bad in games 1 and 2. He didn't do great, but he didn't do horrible. I looked up his stats. One of the games he had like 17 points. The other one he had like 14 or 15 in games 1 and 2. So he didn't do bad. The big disappointment was Kyrie, like Monty alluded to. But
in my personal opinion,
but
PJ Washington is only as good as his foul trouble.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
His
it's only
problem
as
is
good as the foul trouble because this boy PJ Washington, this last game he got in early foul trouble, man. He had like 2 fouls in the first quarter and got a third foul, in the second. You know what I'm saying? So
well, the role players just need to hit shots in Boston. The role players really struggled in Boston. PJ Washington couldn't buy a 3. To me, his strength is going to the hole. He's very athletic. He's strong.
he is.
He's
And
got
the
a
longer
size
he's on the
advantage.
floor,
He likes going to the hole. That's his
he
strength. But
does. He does. And the longer he's on the floor, the better he performs because
yeah.
he's getting more minutes because they need him. But when he's off the floor, then they lose a score. So
Big man Gafford played really well in game 2. Lively played great in games 3 and 4 at home. If that's another key factor too. If Gafford and Lively can still keep on playing good like they've been, I didn't know much about this Gafford guy, but I like him because I haven't followed the Mavericks all year long. But I like Gafford. I knew about Lively, of course, because he's come from Duke, and Duke's got a ton of players in the NBA. We all hate them, but they have a good program. They got a lot of players, and so I know about Lively, and he's been impressive as a rookie, being only 20 years old, playing as good as he has. Having back-to-back double doubles, but he has to play better in Boston. But Gafford played well in game 2 in Boston, so if him and like I said, like you said, Dwayne, if other people could show up besides Kyrie and Luka, they have a chance. But Kyrie has to play better back in Boston too. He has to have a good game 5.
Yeah.
Like he has to score 20+ points, like you said. Then maybe they have a chance in game 5.
The only downside to it,
Dallas to win.
The only downside to Gafford is that he has to play more. And when I think he came out of Washington in the Wizards trade, I think he came from the Wizards. He was playing a lot more, he played a lot. He had a lot of minutes. And when he was with the Wizards, he was averaging somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 rebounds a game. But when he goes to Dallas, he has to rotate with Lively a lot. So those rebounds and that scoring went down, so it's only, it just depends, how kid rotates both him and Lively out, man. But Gafford I thought was a steal, and he can contribute a lot, man, but he has to have more minutes to show what he can do too.
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dwayne. There was something I was going to say, lost my train of thought for a second, but we'll see what happens in game 5, man. It's going to be interesting.
It'll be a good.
We'll see.
We'll see, man.
I hope it's not a blowout, but I expect a blowout. I hope not.
I'm just hoping Dallas can bring momentum, so I'm going to be the only person picking Dallas. But I am probably wrong. More likely, Boston is going to, close this thing out, like I said, because they're going to regroup and they're probably are. But I'm just going to stick with Dallas because I'm just wondering because I've always been suspicious of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the NBA Finals. They seem to play lights out, but then they get to these conference finals and the NBA Finals. They don't close.
And that Boston crowd is out of control, bro.
Man,
they are hype man for real, man.
Yeah,
they have of energy. So good. Much credit to the Boston crowd, though. They're
legit. They're loyal fans. They're loyal as all get out, man. Boston and New York fans are always like that. East Coast in general, Philadelphia,
Agreed.
Yeah. So, but they have been Tatum and Brown have been to five conference finals together. That's what I'm saying, and they've advanced to the NBA Finals only twice. So it seems like they kind of have this mental block a little bit in the conference finals, kind of sort of. I mean, they've won a couple, but they've also lost 3, and then of course 2 years ago they lost to Golden State Warriors in the finals. So but they have a much better team. I think the key is Jrue Holiday and Porzingis have been the X factors for Boston being much better than they were 2 years ago, playing against, the Splash Brothers, in Golden State with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But all right, so we'll see what happens in Game 5. But let's move on to like Monty said, my favorite subject before we close this show out. Caitlin Clark not making the Olympic teams. I've been talking a lot about her. I did a solo show last week about it, going live. I tried out this live thing to see how that worked out. I went by myself. I'm okay with her not making the Olympic team. Some people might completely disagree. Obviously, the really diehard Caitlin Clark fans think it's the worst thing in the world. Even a lot of other sports pundits don't like it because they think, hey, Caitlin Clark is the most sought-out player in the WNBA right now. She's bringing a lot of money. How in the hell is she not going to be on the Olympic team? But I think at the end of the day, though, it's not just the WNBA is a business like NBA. Yes, so yes, in some ways it is about money, but at the same time, the best players have to be on the team. And is she one of the top 12 best players? I don't think she's quite there yet. And like Rebecca Lobo said, this was a long process to make the team, and it's no. And Rebecca Lobo said it's no fallback on Caitlin Clark, because unfortunately when they were playing a lot of these games, she was still in college. Like, this has been a 2 or 3 year process. So it's nothing against Caitlin Clark. She's playing at University of Iowa, doing her thing, getting them into the finals, 2 years in a row, so she wasn't part of this building process up to the Olympics, playing in all these international games. So I agree with Rebecca Lowe. My dad, I don't know what my dad thinks, but I know my dad is a diehard Iowa fan since he's from Iowa, and he loves Caitlin Clark. So do I. But
Oh, she's great.
She's great. Yeah. She's great, but I don't think she's there yet. She is very inconsistent. She has a real big problem with her turnovers. That is her biggest Achilles heel. She has had some really good games in WNBA. She's had 2 30-plus point games. She's had like 5 or 6 games over 20 points, but there's been some games where she's just only scoring like 5, 6, 7 points a game. One game she only had 3. And that's gonna happen sometimes. She's human, but she's a little bit inconsistent on the scoring end. We know she can score, but she's just not quite consistent enough yet. And her biggest problem is the turnovers. Her turnover problem is an issue. She's averaging a lot of turnovers. So what's your take on this, Monty?
If we're looking for growing the women's game, which is it's growing already, but even giving it more publicity, yeah, she should be on the team. But that being said, that's not the case. They're looking for, like you said, the best 12 women's basketball players in the world on the U.S. side. She's not one of those 12 yet. She will be in the near future. That's almost a guarantee, barring any injury or anything like that. This women's national basketball team is tougher to make than the men's team. And the reason for that is most of the best players in the WNBA are American. Can't really say that for the men's team. A lot of the players in the NBA are foreign players. So it's much, much, much tougher to make this women's team as it is. I believe 2016, Candace Parker didn't make the team. That's how tough it is. You know how Candace Parker is.
She's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah, you can argue she's one of the greatest WNBA players ever.
Yeah,
you can argue that.
Absolutely.
There's a bunch out there, but she's in the conversation.
I liked her, man. For sure. I loved Candace Parker. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There was another one in 2000 that did neither. Her name escapes me, but this team is so hard to make. So it's not a snub because of her talent. I believe she might be an alternate. There is a player on the team that's somewhat injured that may not be able to go. I think Caitlin Clark might take her place if she doesn't. If she's not able to make
about that. I think her name's Chelsea Gray. She's still
Chelsea Gray. That's it. But no, nothing against her. She's great. We'll see her on a couple more Olympics teams. Just not this one. It's too good of a team. From what I understand, the average age, there's no one on this team younger than 26. You got Diana Taurasi, who has experience in the international game.
I don't like her attitude, but she is a great player. This is going to be her 6th Olympics. That's amazing. She's got 5 gold medals, man.
What else? Brittany Griner, who's been in the Olympics 100, I don't know, several times. She's a big, someone that they need on
There's a
that
rumor
team.
about her though that I'm going to share in a minute. Go ahead, Battle. I won't cut you off, brother.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only problem I have. It's just not her time yet. And with her there or without her there, this team's going to win the gold regardless. It's pretty much a guarantee. It's not a guarantee with the men's game anymore. I mean, there's so many other. It's wide
Yes.
open as far as the games now. But
Oh yeah, they're catching up to us. And like I said, a lot of really
yeah,
good foreign players in the NBA, man. Look at Luka
yeah,
Doncic, look at
yeah,
Porzingis, look at all these freaking guys. There's more. That's just two off the top of my head, but there's much,
yeah,
much more. I mean, Joker in Denver. I mean, oh my
yeah.
God, there's so many good
It's
foreign
tougher
players
for
in
the
the NBA.
men than our women. So yeah, it's. I have no problem with it. I mean, she'll make many more after this.
What do you got, Dwayne?
No, I'm in agreement with with Monty. It's not to say that she ain't ready yet, but she's just not ready right now.
Yeah,
And I'm not about to even make a big deal out of this. Listen,
Yeah, I agree.
when
It
it
shouldn't
comes
be.
down to USA basketball, you're not trying to advertise. I mean, if let's just say if she did join the team, would the focus be on the team or would it be on Caitlin Clark? So I mean,
mhm.
they are trying to put the best of the best together. If you look at who's on the team right now and how they playing and average scoring, these are just as deserving players with Enescu and Lloyd and Plum and
Oh yeah,
Stewart and
they've been doing their
Collier,
thing for a
Collier,
while. Yeah, they're very good.
Nisha Collier's been having a great season.
Yes.
Kalia Cooper. I mean, Grinder's back in the fold again, and she's back. She's about to play. She's back to playing her old self. So all these players are just as equally as deserving as a spot on the U.S. team as Caitlin Clark. And I think when you kind of hear how people, more pundits have been talking about, is either you looking for the show or you looking for the play. You know,
Yeah,
Caitlin Clark at her height right now is will bring the show and will advertise and bring a lot of probably a lot of sponsorships, newfound sponsorships to USA basketball, but they're looking to win gold.
Right.
You know what I'm
yeah,
Right.
saying? And that's what you go to play the games for. You're representing your country. You don't you want the attention to
right.
be where it should be. And
No,
and that's nothing against Caitlin Clark. Caitlin
I
Clark
agree.
will be dominant. She will take over the game, at some point. But it's just not right now, man. There really shouldn't be making no big deal out of this,
No,
man.
they should be making a big deal about it.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying we shouldn't. The world shouldn't be making the
No, they should
big deal
not.
out of a snub because So are you saying that the other rookies that came in, did they get snubbed as well?
No, they did
And
not.
they're
Yep.
playing just as well as she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, then that's a whole different kind of conversation for a different day. But
Yep.
just because Caitlin is who she is doesn't make her worthy of a U.S. team spot. Because some of these ladies have been playing in the WNBA and on U.S. teams longer
Yes.
than her, and know what it takes to win a gold.
Yep.
So I
Absolutely.
mean, so let's I want to give credit where credit is due. Caitlin, like anybody else, just has to earn her way. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And shows she can bring some consistency as she grows and develops in the game. She has to grow and develop. If you look at who's on the team right now, they've been there before. They
Oh
they
yeah.
they or they worthy of being finally selected for it for it
Yeah.
for
Right.
a team
Right. Right.
spot on
A lot of them
on
are
the
returning
team.
players. A couple that are new, but they're
Yeah.
what you said they've earned it because they've been playing in WNBA for like 3 or 4 years, and they made it. That their
Yeah.
resume speaks
And they
for
know
itself.
the
Yeah, and
international
they
game.
willing to work hard, and then they
Yeah.
have some. They also bring some team chemistry as well because they've been there
Right.
before. They
Yeah.
they played with each other before. So and Caitlin could certainly adapt to that dynamic, but it's just not her time now. Every timing is everything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If Caitlin goes into year two, starts blowing stuff out the water, going into the next 4 years of her game, man. I mean, there's probably not going to be no
There will be no ifs,
doubt
ands, or
that
buts about it.
she's
She'll be
Yeah.
the
going to get
first selected.
selected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think the reason why the controversy exists from Caitlin Clark is not just because of all hype she brings, but there's been, like I covered in my last show, and I've been talking about a lot with you guys. it's not just about her not making the Olympics team. It's just all this love and hate around her. Like there are some WNBA players, in my opinion, you guys may not agree with me, but I just think they flat out don't like her. They hate her. They're against her office because I don't know what it is. Is this because she's getting all the attention? Is there a little bit of race
that's part of
involved?
it. That's part of it.
Is it because she's a straight white player that is Catholic? You know, that some people talk about that. I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but there's been
Right.
some talk about that. It's hard to know what to believe and not to believe in these things. There's a lot of rumors about that, you know, but I think the majority of it is what we've said from the very beginning. A lot of it's just jealousy. But I think there's some parts that come into some of these other factors I just said, you know, but because there's been some crazy comments on both sides, you know, like what some WNBA player said recently about her name is being used for racism and misogynist behavior and some connected.
The media is always going to spin it that way, brother. The media
Huh?
is always going to spin it that way. I said
Right.
the media is always going to spin it that way. But the reality is that even if there is a little bit of hate, a little bit of jealousy, even if that's the case, these WNBA ladies who've been here for a while in their 30s and late 20s and been here for 10,
Right.
8 years or whatever the case may be, they gonna push her and make her earn it. You know what I'm saying? They'll respect her a lot more if she plays the game and she earns her. And that's what Caitlin is doing. Let me give credit to Caitlin. She may complain, but she complains very little. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She just hates that the media is pushing certain agendas.
Right.
You know, with her name on it. You know what I'm saying? But she ain't afraid to take a clip
Excellent
down
point.
and people talking mess to her face because eventually she's going to have her time where she's going to give it right back. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just she's like, for lack of a better term, the great white hype. You know what I'm saying? And they're pushing that agenda. And
Yes, they are.
she's
They are.
tired of it. She's
They are.
tired of it. She knows she has to earn it. She knows how to play the game. She knows that she's gonna be targeted almost every game. But that just builds her up into the person she's destined to become later on down the line. It just ain't right now. Right now, she's just a rookie, in their eyes. Oh, girl, you ain't nothing but a rookie. Man, let me show you how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Boot and push her and tug her and clip her and foul her and make fun of how she flops or whatever in their eyes or whatever the case may be. They're just challenging her. That's all it is. They challenge her. You know
I
what I'm
agree with
saying?
you. You have a good point there.
What NBA person didn't challenge every rookie that came into what I'm saying, from John Morant or whoever, what I'm saying, or Markel.
Ask Lonzo Ball.
Whoever, what I'm saying, Alonzo Ball. You know what I'm saying, man? These jokers don't get a free pass. They gotta work.
I agree with you 1,000%, Wayne. I think
joker.
they are going to push her, and they're not going to lay over and die for her. That's true, but
but
there was a couple of cheap shots I don't like. I think
you're gonna
those
get
were
punched in the mouth a
unnecessary.
couple of times before you get that respect. You know what I'm saying?
I don't mind a good hard clean foul, but one thing I was talking with Monty and my neighbor Rick, who Monty met last summer, like we were talking about, the WNBA does need to be careful about cleaning up some of the cheap shots on her. Like there's nothing wrong with a good hard clean foul when it's a basketball play, but some of these cheap shots I think in my opinion, those are kind of uncalled for. That's the part I don't like.
Yeah,
that's the part I don't like.
But the refs just got to look out for that, and the coach put it in the coach's hands to talk to the refs, be like, look, you know what I'm saying? All I'm asking is just keep an eye out for certain things. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's go play.
Because that whole Tennessee Carter play was
let
just
it be
flat out dirty, in my opinion. I don't know why she did that, but then she's screaming a bunch of crap at her when she's doing it, and she tried to say she didn't say anything, and she was flat out lying. That's why I covered my mouth. She did absolutely say. I read her lips. I know exactly what she said, and I'm like, what is she saying, man? I know what you said, girl. So don't try to say you didn't say nothing, because you definitely said some words.
I have no problem with Caitlin, man. I think
not at all.
The WNBA is going to be in very good hands for years to come with her hands and all the other rookies that came in and things like that. So I think they're in real good hands, but she's just in the prove it era. She's in the prove it stage right now.
You're right.
She just has to earn it, and she got to
and
prove it like everybody else.
She's been
inconsistent. And I'm sure down the line she's going to probably be great friends with all these players that think that they hate her. I mean, so I mean, it's just part of the game, man. It just, I mean, what more?
I
You
agree.
know, are you supposed to prove,
No, I think
as
she
a
has to earn
rookie?
it.
You know
She
what I'm
can't get
saying?
a spot just because of her name. That's wrong, and I don't think she
Yeah,
Right.
wants that. And
no,
Right.
I don't think she wants it
no,
anyway. I don't think Caitlin Clark wants that for herself. I'm just getting on this team because of my name and not because of my play. No,
Right.
I don't think anybody wants that. You want to be on the team
No.
because you've earned it.
no,
You know.
man. You feel so much more accomplished when you earn it. You know what I'm
Yes.
Yeah,
saying? So I mean, it's just, I mean, I mean,
yeah, and she's been inconsistent. She's not quite there yet.
what are you
So
supposed to do? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Everybody's trying to earn it right now, man. What do you expect? I mean,
And
what do
like
you? I
Monty
mean,
said, the WNBA is much more I mean, it's very hard to make this team. He mentioned the names who didn't make it before, and these are like legends in the WNBA. So yeah, she'll have her chance. And like I said, to
she'll
open
have her
up the
moment.
Yeah.
It's just not right now. But she will. She'll have her moment like anybody else, man. So I
but
think
right.
they're in good hands,
And
man.
I
Yeah.
WNBA is in
and I
good
agree with
hands.
you guys that she has a good attitude. Like she doesn't seem to bring too much on herself.
No. No.
She always seems to say the right things in the media. That's one thing I
Yeah,
like about her. It's the media spin things up. Just like you said, Dane.
yeah,
So I like the media, but sometimes it can be such a problem with things like this
Mhm.
because I know we need the media. The media exists for a reason to give us education, to make us aware of things and what's going on throughout the world and this, that, and the other. But
yeah.
sometimes they can cause so much problems though because
And
they spin things up.
who's to say that later on down the line that her and Angel Reese ain't gonna be the best of friends, just like
Right.
Magic and Bird are. You know what I'm saying? The
Yes.
toughest of
Yeah.
competitors, but man, they are such good friends. They are the dearest
Yeah.
of friends.
Oh
But who's to
yeah.
say that their relationship won't develop later on down the
I hope
line?
it does.
You know what I'm saying?
Magic and Bird are a good example of that.
People
Yeah.
didn't see black and white when it came to Magic and Bird. They just saw shooter. They saw play, competitive in college against each other,
Yeah.
competitive in the
Lakers
NBA
Celtics.
against each other.
Yeah.
And I think that could possibly be something to look forward to down the line with between
Yes.
recent
That's a
down the
great
line.
point. I hope that
Yeah.
happens. But Magic and
Yeah.
Bird are definitely a good example. Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't like each other early on, but then later on, like you said,
Great
they
friends.
great
Best of
friends.
friends.
So I hope that's the case. But all right, big baller shot callers.
Good show. Good show.
In closing here, let us know what you think about the NBA Finals. Do you think Dallas has a chance to come back, or are they going to get their butts kicked in Game 5, or will they make this a series? If they win Game 5, I think that will make things interesting. But we'll come back
Yeah.
in a week or
Agreed.
so and see what happens with this. Did Boston close it out, or are we going into a Game 6? What do you think about Caitlin Clark? Obviously, always a lot of talk around her, good and bad. But I think the three of us handled it really well. I love what Dwayne and Monty said. Yeah, it's just not her time right now, but she'll be there as long as she stays healthy, and I hope she does stay healthy. Because yeah, she is a future, great player in the WNBA to help, and
Yes.
she's bringing a lot of hype right now. She's bringing in the views, she's bringing in the sponsorships, like Dwayne said, she's bringing in a lot of attention. But she does need to make this team fair and square in our opinions, and I think that's right. So let us know what you think about that. But you guys got anything in closing, brothers?
No, no. Yes, like Ken mentioned, we'd love to hear your comments, good or bad, suggestions. Let's see if Dallas can make this a series, see what happens.
Absolutely. And give us a click, give us a like. We definitely want to hear your comments. This is from the grid to the rim sports talk. This is what we love to do. And it's all about just hearing what you have to say as well. So, but again, we just like to close out by saying happy Father's Day to you and yours. Whether you have one living or not living, enjoy your weekend, be safe, be blessed. And we just want to show that act of love is on you as well. So happy Father's Day.
Yes,
Amen.
absolutely.
Father's
Well
Day.
said, brother. Well said, brother. All right. Peace, everyone.
All right, salute
Have a
y'all.
good weekend.
See
Have a
y'all.
happy
See
Have
Father's
a
y'all.
Day
great one.
weekend.